Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again, and welcome to the first episode of my new Franchise Hockey Manager 4 series. It is going to be the Unemployed Road to Glory, as I wanted to say voted on by you guys. But for those that missed the other great mystery video that I put up the other day, it was basically the confirmation that I was bringing FHM 4 to the channel, and I left it up to you guys as far as what series we start with, and the overwhelming opinion was to try out this option where we start off as unemployed, see where we start off, see who we get an offer from first. And for those who don't know, these are all of the leagues that we could technically find work in. From the Swedish second tier, the AHL, we could get an offer from there immediately. The Asia League Ice Hockey, which I talked about that league a couple of months ago with the NHL and the China Games, talking about the history of the China Dragon. The ECHL is there, the EIHL is there, the Federal Hockey League, the SPHL, and the lovely Macon Mayhem, among other great names like the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, the hockey guys' favorite SPHL team. The bottom line is, I'm not sure where we're going to start off, but the goal, and the KHL is there as well, the goal is to eventually get to the NHL. The goal is to win a Stanley Cup. How long will that take? I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to the journey, and I hope you are as well. Now, we do have the option to start off as GM and head coach or just GM. I'm going to go GM and head coach, even though for the most part, I'll probably, I like to build the team. I prefer to have some input on who plays where, but for the most part, I'll be using my assistant as well. We're going to start off as a total unknown. Let's move forward as far as setting up our GM and what we would prefer to do, how we would prefer to go about this. As far as a GM template goes, I'm thinking balanced is probably a good way to start. With our coach template, though, we could be professor, players coach, old-time hockey-oriented. We could, act as though we're a former player, a former goalie, forward, or defenseman. I think what I'm going to do, though, and I've praised this before, I'm going fundamentals first. I think I'm going fundamentals first. If I was a coach, there would absolutely be emphasis on fundamentals first. You got to have the basics down, so that's what we're going to look to do. As far as playing a physical game, I'm going to say balanced. That's a little bit of a cop-out. Same thing with an offensive game. So our points for GM or just our GM/general ratings, it's a 7 everywhere. For our head coach ratings, there's a big emphasis on tactics, not so much in-game tactics, but training, physical, defensive, and offensive training is there. We're not too good with coaching goaltenders, but that's okay. We'll get better in the future. Let's move on here. Now, if this is your first look at the interface for FHM 4, you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and that is completely understandable. I felt the same exact way, but I was able to learn the interface as you could and hopefully will as well. It's not as complicated as it looks, and navigation is fairly easy once you figure out where you're going. I will say as well, no, we have not been hired by the Boston Bruins. I wish that would make this road to glory incredibly easy. Instead, we have 3 contract offers from 3 different teams in 3 different leagues that would really give us a different experience depending on which team we pick. So as you will be able to tell, this is going to be a shorter episode because you guys are going to vote on what path we take. We have an offer from an AHL team in the form of the Syracuse Crunch. We have an offer from an OHL team, that being the North Bay Battalion, or we could go and take the job with Espoo United, who are in the second tier Finnish league. Below Liga, there is Espoo United in Mestis. I'm probably mispronouncing that, as you know me. I love to mispronounce everything. Taking a look, though, at Espoo United. As far as what you want to be looking at here, primarily, it would be the ability and the potential rating of each player. Now, the scale is 0.5 stars to 5 stars. A 1.5 star player is an average, like a below average NHL player. Like 2 stars is a decent NHL player. Anything above that is pretty damn good. And I'll give you a couple of examples at the NHL level in a second. So with Espoo United, there's no surprise that it's a little bit rough. Maybe a little bit more than rough. It's not a good team, nor would you really expect it to be, though, when it is in the second-tier Finnish league. Also, they have a rule, as you can see down here in the bottom. You're only allowed 5 non-Finnish players in this league, so that would also provide an interesting challenge. The main focus, if we were to select Espoo United, now honestly I'm not aware as to whether or not there's promotion and relegation. I would assume there is, much like in the Swedish leagues. But the main focus of our team, no matter what, would be the development of Jesse Jolonen. I'm probably butchering that, but I'm trying my best. A highly touted prospect coming up in the Real World 2018 draft. Our focus would be to help him develop and to hopefully see him be a first-round pick. He does have that 4-star, or, we'll call it 4-star potential. It basically is 4-star potential. That would be our main focus, his development, and hopefully being promoted, if that is in fact a thing. To be honest, I should have searched that up. I could search it right now. I'm not sure entirely. So if we want to take the long road towards getting to an NHL job, this would be it. Taking this job in the second-tier Finnish league. Again, for those that missed the Great Mystery video that I put up, that was essentially the confirmation that I was bringing FHM to this, to this channel. As I mentioned, these are all of the leagues that are in the game. The ones in bold are the playable leagues. So when talking about a job that would kind of represent taking the long road, second-tier Finnish league, that's definitely one of them. I was intrigued to see if we'd get an offer from the Austrian league, the Belarusian league, Denmark, England would have been pretty fun. But so far, it is the second-tier Finnish league. And again, keep in mind, if we take this job, there's no guarantee. Even if we take the AHL job with Syracuse, there is no guarantee that we will then magically get an NHL job next. It could go poorly, and we could have to work our way back up. But for an example here, because I wanted to make sure you guys get a look at a 5-star player, you have Carey Price, Shea Weber, Pacioretty, Drouin, Galchenyuk. You can see the ratings there. No, I'm not going to go through every NHL team and look at all the ratings. I'm not going to do that. That would be very, very time-consuming. What I am going to do is take a look at the second team that offered us a contract, that being the North Bay Battalion of the OHL. And of course, being in the OHL, it's not too hard to figure out what our goal is. It would be to win a Memorial Cup. That would probably be our ticket to a better job. However, the North Bay Battalion aren't exactly the best team with the most promising prospects. There are some familiar names that you might recognize from NHL 18. Cam Dineen is one of them. Riley Bruce, who I am only aware of because he is 6'7", which is incredibly helpful. But yeah, not the easiest job that we could look to take. But again, it would be another, how do we want to phrase this? How do we want to phrase this? It would be another unique experience. That's what I mentioned earlier. All 3 jobs would put us in a very different spot. Second-tier Finnish team, being the GM of a junior team, and knowing that whatever players we have probably aren't going to be around for all that long. Of course, with the age limit, losing players to their NHL teams, it puts us in a tough spot. And then there's an AHL team, the Syracuse Crunch. Now, of course, we would be, in a partnership with the Tampa Bay Lightning, which means a lot of these guys, again, might not be around for all that long. But you have someone like Volkov, Connor Ingram, Dennis Yan, Matthew Joseph, Anthony Cirelli, Matt Spencer of Rebuilding Hockeytown fame. We certainly have some familiar names. There are also certain veterans like Michael Layton. Keep in mind, this roster is from opening night. I don't have any form of roster update yet. So, for example, Kyle Turris is still in Ottawa. Derek Pouliot still in Pittsburgh. I was looking for a roster update. Couldn't find one yet, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned. So anyway, that pretty much covers it. Like I mentioned, as far as everything else goes with the interface, I can explain that, explain certain aspects that you might be confused about as we continue to move forward. But for now, we will end this episode, and I will say, you may notice in the top right-hand corner there, the little annotation. It's up to you guys. Which direction do we go? Do we take the job with Espoo United? Do we take the job with the North Bay Battalion? Or do we go straight to the AHL with the Syracuse Crunch? All three teams have their own unique challenges, and I don't know. I don't know if one job is going to be easier than another. Time will tell. But I'm certainly intrigued to see what you guys decide to choose. So for now, I'll thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy this episode. And in the next one, of course, we will really get going as we will actually know what team we are taking control of. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Links are in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. There will also be a link. You guys can follow at Franchise Hockey on Twitter as well if you are interested in the game. It's available on Steam. For now, have a good one. Take it easy. I'll catch you later. Goodbye. I wasn't really sure how to end this video, admittedly. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's not going to be the longest video in the world, but it's just kind of like, hey, here's the teams. Here's what's going on. I'll see you in the next one. I mean, that's pretty much all I can do, though. I don't want to pick the job. I want you guys to choose for me, even though you'll probably just make it as difficult as possible, which will probably make for a more interesting series. I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time, hopefully. Or not. Maybe you didn't enjoy the episode. Maybe you're not going to come back. Maybe you're going to break my heart.